Welcome back, everybody. Today, we are going to take a look at what the current meta for Paldean Wonder looks like. It's actually kind of surprising. There's a decent amount of new cards from the set that have become new archetypes. Not a lot has changed with the old stuff. There's a good amount of new decks for you to try out that are already proven to be great in the meta. So let's jump into it. First, we're just going to very quickly talk about the decks that already existed in the meta. If you want to skip to the new stuff, timestamps are down there on the bar. Skip around. You won't hurt my feelings. Mega Absol Hydreigon, still a top deck. No changes. It's kind of what you're going to notice is that basically anything you were playing last format, you are pretty much just able to convert it over. This is a very cool set where not a lot has been forced out of the meta. Just some new decks have kind of been thrown in. At least none of the really powerful stuff has been forced out of the meta quite yet. We did see a return of Mega Absol Greninja. Haven't seen this deck in quite a bit of time, so it's cool to see it do well in a tournament. Just another returning archetype. Mega Kangaskhan. Greninja still seems to be the best variant for it. Again, no changes to the deck. It's the same way it was built last format, but this seems to be the best way to play the Mega Kangaskhan at the moment, if you're still enjoying that. And then we have the Altaria stuff still doing just as well as always. Some of them are starting to play like Comfeys in the Jirachi Tapu Lele line. I don't love the Comfey because its ability, you have to attach the Psychic Energy, so like you're trying to keep the Chingling from being poisoned or take any sort of special condition, and you have to attach an energy to it, and it's like real, you know, I don't know. I don't like the Comfey. And then we have Suicune Greninja as well. The only thing that's changed about Suicune Greninja is some lists are playing Meowscarada instead of the starting plane stadium card. I think really Suicune just wanted to play a stadium that gave it a little bit of value to try to bump the training area from the Altaria decks. So the Meowscarada, it makes sense, like bouncing between the two. I'm really not a Suicune guy. Not a Suicune Greninja guy. Haven't really, I mean, I had one season where I played it quite a bit because it was really the only real deck and I wanted points in ranked, but for the most part, I stay away from the deck. But Meowscarada, it makes sense to me. You're not buffing the other, you know, your opponent's basic Pokemon as well. You are potentially giving them access to more Pokemon, but your Suicune, you're going to outdraw them no matter what. I guess this is maybe the most improved old deck, but people aren't even like exclusively playing it this way. This is Bellibolt. We're going to talk about Bellibolt and the two different variants of the deck. Here you have a Magnezone Oricorio with just a 1/1 Bellibolt teched in. It makes sense. I've seen the deck also without Oricorio and just going Magnezone to Bellibolt. You know, just trade out those two Oricorio for the extra Bellibolt pieces. It's a good addition to the deck, for sure. I've also seen Magnezone Oricorio with no Bellibolt. So, like, it's, you know, it's kind of pick and choose your own adventure type thing with the Magnezone deck right now. Which one is better is very hard to say. They both have their strengths and they both do fairly well into the meta as a whole. They both show up at tournaments in like equal amounts. This other variant, this is the other one we're taking a look at, and this is with Zeraora. So Zeraora is just going to allow you to be a little bit faster with the deck, right? Like you can start the Tadbulb and the Zeraora, get that extra energy in play, and it's not unreasonable for you to be hitting for 140 on your second turn with Bellibolt. Now, from my experience, I did a video on this deck. I like the one Pichu in here. It just, like, if I go first and start Pichu, it feels pretty good. If I go second and start Pichu, I don't have to, like, Tadbulb charge him in the active spot, putting him in danger. Really, the thing that I noticed about the deck that I didn't love was the electric generators. This list also does not play a what's the card's name? Elemental Switch. I think I like Elemental Switch in these lists, but I don't love electric generator. It just felt like it's like a 50-50, and there are times where it's not even going to help you at all because Bellibolt, if you go second, you kind of don't need the electric generators like at all. You might, like, if you start the Zeraora, then you won't be hitting for the 140 because you'll have to waste an attachment by retreating. But if you go second and just start Tadbulb or Pichu and hit a Zeraora, then the electric generators are almost useless for the whole game because you could just get to the 4 energy requirement that turn. And unless your opponent is going to be knocking out your Bellibolt on their next turn, you will always have 4 energy in play. If you go first, it's a different story. If you miss on Zeraoras, it's a different story. But from like my playing, I don't know, having the 2 just kind of felt like I almost had 2 dead cards in my deck. I don't know. It's a coin flip card at the end of the day, so that's probably how they're all destined to feel. But I might just like the 1 copy instead of going double electric generators. It doesn't feel as necessary to me. But all this to say, Bellibolt is like insanely strong. Probably not the strongest card out of this set. We'll talk about what might be the stronger combo, but definitely at least top 2. Like, this is a very, very strong card, and building the Magnezone variant or the Zeraora variant will work out very, very well for you. Guys, real quick, this is absolutely the best champion theme out of any Pokemon game, and the more I play, the more I'm like, dude, maybe Fire Red and Leaf Green are actually just the best Pokemon games of all time. I don't even like Gen 1. Like, I'm not even a Gen 1 guy. But Fire Red and Leaf Green, I don't know. They might be the best. Speaking of best, the best new deck. Suicune Excalibur. So, I'm very surprised that this deck is becoming more popular than Suicune Greninja. Just because, like, the Excalibur, it'll get you the extra energy for Suicune. Maybe you can attack a turn earlier. I guess the double Misty could mean you could start attacking with Suicune early as well. You got the big Palkia and the Chien Pao to snipe. I'm just surprised that this package is working better than the Greninja, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it because it's cool to see not Greninja doing well with Suicune. And the Excalibur is a really, really cool card. It's just water type Gardevoir. Lets you get an extra energy into play onto your active Pokemon. And it enables some really cool attacks. Like the Chien Pao's attack is sick, dude. Discard all water, snipe 130 wherever you want. That's awesome. That is such an awesome card. It was the deck I made a video on first. I did say in that video where I tried it without Suicune just to, like, you know, it's the first day of the new pack. I just got done opening. I don't really want to build a Suicune deck immediately. I did say, you know, without the Suicune, it didn't really feel like much. Suicune's probably the best way to play it. And lo and behold, I mean, you're trying to set up a stage 2, right? Like a stage 2 water type. Suicune is going to be the best way to play it. But yeah, man, this deck has been doing very, very well. You have the early pop-up potential with Misty. You have the guaranteed just water energy with the Excalibur. And a bunch of water dudes, man. It's a very, very fun-looking deck. Starting planes as well to boost the HP of everybody. Yeah, dude, just a really, really cool toolbox, water toolbox deck. I'm a big, big fan of this. I like it quite a lot. And it seems to be maybe the new best deck. As far as, like, new decks go, yes, the best deck. Is it the new top #1 deck in the meta overall? Yet to be seen. Yet to be seen if it's quite that strong. And honestly, I'm really going to hope not, but we'll see if people don't just go, all right, that was fun. We had fun with our Excaliburs. Let's go back to the Greninja. And, like, this deck just kind of ceases to exist in comparison. Hopefully not. Hopefully it is the opposite, and all the Greninja players come over to Excalibur, and you have this cool new way to play Suicune. But it's hard to get people off of the Suicune Greninjas, man. They love it. They love it. Next, let's talk about Meowscarada. And immediately, what I want to say about this deck is I've not played it, but I do agree with Mr. Jimbo Pocket's assessment that you should have a Giovanni in this deck. With a Giovanni, you're now able to go like Flower Trick plus Solar Beam, and that totals up to 160 damage between the 2 turns with a Giovanni. So I think the Giovanni is very necessary. Solar Beam can hit for 90 instead of 80. Meowscarada's Fighting Claws can hit for 70 against an Oricorio, or it can hit for 140. I think the Giovanni is pretty necessary in the deck. Like, almost every single number that I just said is a very, very important breakthrough number for the current meta. So get a Giovanni into this deck somewhere. Maybe Lucky Ice Pop, get out of here. I hate you. But it does seem like super cool, dude. I want to play it. I just only have one Meowscarada, so I haven't been able to play the deck yet. And I would love for it to become more of a meta threat. I don't know what we got to do to it to make that happen, because oh, Jimbo also, he plays like a totally different list. He plays like what is it? I think he might have said he plays a Devil Loot, like the Devolving Celebi, maybe, or I'm like misremembering. He definitely said he played a Chingling. He plays a Chingling and like some other Pokemon as well. But I really want this deck to be like top of the meta. This is a list that actually won a very early on tournament, right? Like second night of the set coming out. So you always got to take those with a grain of salt, because everyone's trying new stuff. And then like once the meta settles down and lists are refined, it's really hard to, you know, push something through to the, you know, even just like top 8 spot when the meta is really figured out. But in the early game, you can kind of do that. Now, Meowscarada, like, again, it seems strong enough. And you have the baby Meowscarada to pair with it. I guess in all of my playing against Meowscarada, because again, I haven't played it, I can't play it. My problem has been that this card can get run off the board really easily. Like, you're not doing the most amount of damage. Your energy attachments are light. And if the Meowscarada EX goes down early, it's really hard to set up back-to-back stage 2s quickly. Now, again, something like Suicune, it should be pretty okay for you. You're not putting a whole bunch of Pokemon in play. You're doing, you know, decent amount of damage. You can kind of snipe wherever you want with the Flower Trick. There are reasons why this would be okay into Suicune, but Hydreigon could be trick. Like, if they just get the aggro Hydreigon out, what are you gonna do about it? Might be too much damage for the Meowscarada to handle. You know, just like it's kind of been the problem with it, is that if your opponent is very quick and very aggressive, then you sort of run out of time, which I guess was the problem with Decidueye too. It is very similar to Decidueye deck. And what it ultimately might come down to is like, is this actually better than Decidueye? Like, are we gonna ever play Meowscarada over just the double Rowlet and the 2 Decidueye EX and the 2 baby Decidueye? I don't know. We will have to see more as the meta develops, or if people can refine the deck list a little bit more, because the Flower Trick attack is super cool, and I would love to see it be on top of the meta. But for the most part, it's not really doing a whole lot, to be honest. It's there, but it's not there. It's not a top deck. I'd say right now it's sitting in like tier 2.5, maybe. it isn't doing the best in the world at the moment. Here we have just a fun deck I wanted to show you. I made a video on this just yesterday, but it is the new Houndstone. So Houndstone is going to do 50 damage plus 20 more for each psychic Pokemon in your discard pile. Honestly, you're never going to get up to giant numbers with the last respects. It would require your opponent to be off to an abysmal start and for pretty much everything to go your way. Because here's the thing. The only form of actual discard that we have in this game right now is effects from Pokemon's attacks, and then like Klefki's ability. So Klefki will discard itself if your opponent's active Pokemon has a tool card attached to them. Then you can discard the Klefki, get plus 20 more damage. Cool. The Gourgeist, you discard a card from your hand, and that will put another psychic Pokemon in. So the issue is that you can only get basically one more Pokemon in the discard a turn, which makes it really hard to build the deck around, you know, going super aggro on trying to like playing. Like, imagine if we just played 2 Research, 2 Pokeballs, and a Copycat, and we just said, screw everything else. We're just playing psychic Pokemon, and we'll guarantee discard 1 every single turn. Well, you can't discard more than 1 every turn, so you're never going to get to a point where Houndstone is doing too much damage. Usually the way that this deck tries to win is Gourgeist early, get a couple extra Pokemon in the discard, your Meloettas, your other Gourgeist line, and then set up for double Houndstone if need be. Sometimes the Gourgeist can take an early point, and then Houndstone can finish things off. Now, in my list, after playing it, the 2 Peculiar Plaza feels awesome. It's so great to basically be guaranteed having free retreat on everybody. I'd say cut 1 Peculiar Plaza for a Giant Cape. Houndstone only has 130 HP. It's just a little bit light. Altaria can knock it out. There are some other cards that can knock it out that are not coming. Bellibolt can knock it out in 1 hit. I think you need the Giant Cape to bring him up to 150 because the problem with the deck is really energy attachments. If you go first, you can attack with Gourgeist, but if your opponent got off to a quick Altaria, they're just going to knock out the Gourgeist, and then they're going to knock out the Houndstone when that comes into the active as well. So I think the Giant Cape is probably necessary. It might even be a double Giant Cape deck, to be honest. Like, the Houndstone needs more than 130 HP, but it is super, super fun, and maybe we can refine the list and get somewhere better with it. But yeah, you're not going for big one-shots. You're going for... Yeah, I have 3 1-point Pokemon you're going to have to attack through. Have fun. So you go Gourgeist and then double Houndstone and hope that that can win you the game. Yeah, I like it a lot. It's a good time. I just think the lists that we've been seeing need a little bit of work. Mainly, Houndstone needs more HP. Let's talk about Gholdengo. So, deck has kind of been just a meme. This list actually did win a tournament. There's 2 ways to play it. You got the Worm, and you have the Dialga. That's not it. This is Dialga. And this guy was playing a crazy list. He was playing a 1-1 Muck in his deck. For the most part, the Worm has been doing the best as far as tournaments go. Like, this is a list that actually won a tournament, which is cool. Did not expect that to happen, but I mean, the deck is, you know, it's scary enough. Interestingly, this guy is playing a Magearna instead of the other Gholdengo, the baby Gholdengo. I was playing basically this list, but with the baby Gholdengo instead of the Magearna. Just so it's like I'm either starting Gimme Ghoul or I'm starting Earthworm, and I, you know, just like one less starter that is, it's one more starter that isn't the Worm in this list. But the idea is simple: attach the Earthworm, start using its attack, power up the Gholdengo on the bench. Gholdengo gets a lot of energy on it, and he goes crazy. With the Metal Core Barrier, you're basically guaranteed to get 2 attacks off with the Gholdengo. You could also use the Metal Core Barrier on the Worm to give guarantee 1 extra turn with him in the active spot, which is not bad at all. Because Gholdengo, I mean, he's got 150 HP. Kind of hard for anything to one-shot him. Like, what is actually going to one-shot a Gholdengo? A Blaziken? A Palkia? If you don't have any tools? Like, for both of those, you know, it's a little bit difficult to one-shot the Gholdengo. He's usually going to get 2 attacks off, which is, I mean, that's just kind of your hope, is that can win you the game. Now, this version plays no Protective Poncho, which is a little bit scary, because the Earthworm has 3 retreat. Like, when this guy's in the active spot, he's sort of stuck in the active spot, you know? There's like nowhere for this guy to go. He's got it, and they're not even playing Leaf. They're playing Lyra. So, like, the Worm has to get damage, or else he's staying in the active spot forever. And if your opponent plays any bench sniping, they're totally free to just go for the Gholdengo. So I would like to see switch the Lyra for a Leaf, or get a Poncho in the deck or something to mitigate that. Again, like, here's the Dialga variant. They also are not playing, I mean, they're playing Leaf in the Dialga, so it's not as bad. Dialga only has 2 retreat. And now, okay, so I guess I'll talk about the differences between the two. So if you go first with Dialga, you feel awful, because then you have to attach, don't get to power up any energy, and then attach again, and then you finally get to start using Metallic Turbo. By that time, there's a decent chance your Dialga is just going to be knocked out the next turn, and then you have a Gholdengo with 2 energy. Earthworm, you can at least, if you go first, you can start building up the energy, and, you know, using like Metal Core Barrier to let him live more. I don't know. I feel like I like the Earthworm better, because he, if you go first, it's less punishing than the Dialga variant. That's just my opinion, and the Worm has been doing better than every other variant of it, so I think the Worm is just the best way to play Gholdengo. But that's Gholdengo. Yeah, get a leaf in here or a poncho for the Gholdengo. Something, man. Something. I think I'd prefer a leaf. Poncho on the Gholdengo feels kind of bad because then you don't get to use the metal core barrier or the steel apron. But find room for a leaf, not a Lyra. I guess you found the room. Get rid of the Lyra, add a leaf. Last two decks I want to talk about really quickly. It's basically the same deck, just it's the same core idea. There's the Leafeon Ogerpon and Leafeon Mega Pinsir. And so I just wanted to show these decks because I've been seeing them pop up like a decent amount. Like people keep bringing them to the tournaments and they keep doing well with them. And I think that's really cool because I like Teal Mask Ogerpon a lot as a Pokemon. Because the DLC kind of made them very lovable. And also, the Teal Mask Ogerpon card from the actual TCG, it just looks amazing. And the decks I've played with it are so much fun, like just accelerating all the energy into play. Raging Bolt, dude. Raging Bolt. I was on the front lines of Raging Bolt. Let me tell you. People didn't know. We had the idea, you know. Everyone was like, is this deck going to be good? And then I played it to a tournament. I made a Raging Bolt list. I played it to an online tournament and did good. And some other people did too. And it was like, oh, whoa. This Raging Bolt list, or this Raging Bolt deck there might be something here. And then, you know, it kind of spiraled out of control from there. And Raging Bolt is now a thing. Yeah, I'll give myself some credit. It's a pretty easy combo to think of. I just actually played it to a tournament. Anyways, Teal Mask Ogerpon. I like the Pokemon because of that. And I like accelerating energy. And this is kind of like, you know, it's close enough to like Ogerpon in the TCG for me. Leafeon, power up to Ogerpon, very cool. Mega Pinsir is sick as well. Not like any of these, like none of these attacks really impress me on anybody. It's just, I like the vibes of the deck, to be honest. Sort of it. You play the Pinsir variant, you might start the Pinsir and you'll be very sad. You're just hoping that doesn't happen. Yeah, but I just want to show you guys the deck because it's been doing fairly well at tournaments, and I'll probably do my own version of it later on this week because this deck looks like a lot of fun to play. And I'm no longer tryhard maxing, I'm fun maxing with this game. By the way, so out of all the results we just looked at, we didn't look at any of the Pocket Mads results like we usually do because Maddie decided to ban Lucky Ice Pop for his tournaments, which I honestly like, dude, awesome, because to me that is the most pointless card ever printed. Like there was legit no reason to print that card. It's not filling any role besides, yo, what if we took Potion and just made it so 10% of the time you win the game because you have a Potion in your deck? Like it was the most brain dead card to ever print ever. It adds nothing to the game at all besides more bullshit. So banning it from his tournaments, awesome. I don't even see why the card was made. That being said, when Ranked comes out, you're still gonna have to deal with the Lucky Ice Pop. It's gonna be in decks. So all of the results, you know, you gotta look at things with Ice Pop as far as actual ranked gameplay goes. And that means that Hydreigon at his tournament was kind of falling off a bit because those guys, they can't imagine playing the deck without Lucky Ice Pop, even though you were just doing it a set ago. But nobody's played the Hydreigon deck to the tournament. You're gonna see a lot of Hydreigon on ranked still. So all right, well, that little aside, I mean, we barely talked about this deck at all. We just talked about other things that I like, which is cool. Whatever, it's my video. That's gonna be it, though. We're out of decks. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video. I will see you on the next one.